Good morning, everyone. Get this adjusted. Oh, I'm such a finicky person here. Can't have any of the tent because I'm inside my tent. I have mesh behind me. Hear that? We're shooting through the mesh. But that's my view. With my windows open, that's my view. Let me rotate this a bit. My car out there, I let enough light in to aid, so I have some natural light with my artificial light. But I end up with, I'm trying to have the camera a little bit offset so that I can get my view of the monitor so I'm not looking sideways. Because I put my teleprompter up here that has the notes on it. When God gives me this stuff, I don't care if He pours it in or if He types it in, hunt and peck, whatever, it doesn't matter. It won't stay. I have to basically take dictation. I have to write it down as He gives me the message. And when I write it down, then I clean it up a little bit, look up the verses that I've got, because I don't know where they're at, I just know the words. I look up the verses. For some reason I can remember the stories, I just can't remember where they're at. So I have to look them up, do all that, and then I put my notes up here, and it's on a teleprompter, and it's in big letters so that I don't have to worry about where it's at and see it, because I've got my cheaters if I need them. I don't need glasses for long distance, just for short distance, because I've had LASIK. If you're dealing with glasses being a problem, look into it. I'm not recommending any medical procedures, but it worked for me. Okay? All right, so the title for today is God Keeps His Word. If you're reading through the Bible, and this is especially for novice Christians, if you're reading through the Bible and you find something that doesn't seem to fit, or it contradicts what you know of God, or it puts God in a bad light, stop and do some research on it. Anytime you're studying the Bible, even if you got yourself a regiment to read from cover to cover, if you got a problem, don't go on. Stop, solve the problem before you go on. There are apparent, I say apparent, contradictory verses here and there. I've brought up a few of them recently, and I occasionally will tell you, as we're reading, if something has got some controversy on it. The biggest controversy, of course, is the rapture. Which version of the rapture, nobody's who's really knowledgeable of the Bible denies the rapture, because it's in black and white. If they're not knowledgeable of the Bible, they're going to deny it. They're going to say it never existed, it should never exist, you're a hypocrite, you're a liar, you're a cheat, you're whatever. Any kind of name calling they can do, which is not acceptable in traditional debates. It's only acceptable in Satan's rules for radicals. All right. So God keeps His word. Let's take a look at that. God keeps His word about salvation. Now, we believe we're saved as Christians because the Bible says so. Unfortunately, we may have to wait until we get to heaven to 100% verify that. But I'm convinced. I'm 99.99%. So that fraction of a percent, I won't know until I get to heaven. Because we always have doubt. We always have doubt in ourselves because we're sinful and we can't see things through God's eyes. He tries to reveal them, but we're never good at that. So the most famous verse, John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whoever believes in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life." Everlasting life, eternal life. The wording can be a little different. For God did not send His Son. We're going to continue in 17 because most people stop there. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. We have a whole history of the chosen, from Abraham all the way to modern times, where God has fulfilled his prophetic words that he's given to his prophets. And they all have the same basic theme. You mess up, you pay a price, you come back, you're fine. Pay the price, and then we can get back together again. Refuse to pay the price, and you're going to stay where you're at. Until you agree that you were wrong, pay the price, and come back. It's real simple. God doesn't make it complicated. The gospel is probably the simplest thing that we could be teaching anybody. This verse. Everybody's heard of it. They may, even non-Christians may have it memorized because they've heard it so many times. God is consistent. He keeps his word about the end of the world. 2 Peter 3:10. The Bible tells us the day of the Lord will come like a thief. It means that the end of the world will happen suddenly and quickly. We're talking about the end of the world. We're not talking about the rapture. It's going to be quick too, but we don't have any descriptions other than the fact that we're being snatched away. That in itself implies quickness. 3:10 says, the heavens will disappear with a roar, the elements will be destroyed by fire. No water this time, fire. And the earth and everything on it will be laid bare. It actually says here, everything done in it will be laid bare. So, everything that you cherish, that you've created, that you don't want to part with, that you keep as your little, I don't want to give this up, God, everything will be destroyed. How are you going to feel then, when it's all gone? Well, you're going to feel good about it because you won't be here. You'll be in heaven watching. God is totally consistent. He's consistent in the Bible. And again, I've covered these at various times where there are apparent inconsistencies. The easiest one to find are the two genealogies. They're not right. The Bible's wrong. Throw it out. Come be a heathen like me. Well, there are two genealogies because there are two parents. Case closed. He keeps his word about the consequences of sin. We're told over and over again. The ultimate consequence of sin is death. If you are so sinful that you won't accept God, then you will die and go to hell with Satan and his minions, because hell was not created for people. It was only created for Satan and his kind. But if you choose to want to go there, if that's what you want, and it's not good for you, God will still let you do. He doesn't go against our will. So his consequences, keeps his word about the consequences of sin. Genesis 3:17. Then to Adam he said, because you have heeded the voice of your wife and eaten from the tree which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Don't blame her, don't blame him. It's the devil's work. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. We have to work now to survive. And initially they had a longer lifespan. That lifespan has been cut back. Because it doesn't matter how long you live. There's enough time in our short lifespan to see the truth, choose to accept it or not. We don't need any more time than this. He keeps his word about taking care of us. He's our Father. A father will take care of their kids as best as possible. The father of the prodigal son gave him what he wanted and had to say goodbye. But when he came back, It's party time. Keeps a word about taking care of us. Philippians 4:19. And my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory by Jesus Christ. Jesus came down here for one reason: to end our separation. We weren't designed to be separated from God. That's why people struggle. They just struggle. They struggle with drugs. They struggle with sex. They struggle with alcohol. Anything that they can find. Fame. They struggle with that because they want. It's got to constantly feed them because we have a need. That need is an empty socket where God's supposed to plug in. How does it work? I don't know. But I know that for those that don't have God, the struggle is harder. Even for Christians, it's difficult because we have a sin nature. And Satan just is relentless. And he's got a lot of help. And they're relentless too. So we have to always be on our guard. But we shouldn't be worried about anything going on around us. There's nothing going on. Wars and rumors are wars. No big deal. That's not the end. Don't worry about it. Pestilence. Don't worry about it. They're trying to bring up something more, something new, something that will scare us, but they've already played that hand. And the world is not running in fear this time. So I don't know what they're going to do unless they release a complete deadly toxin. And they've got them. They've got every deadly thing on this face of this earth. They've got them in the labs. From the bubonic plague to COVID to everything. And stuff even worse. They could kill off the entire world population if they wanted to by releasing these. Of course, they'd kill themselves too, so they're being slow to use the big weapons until someone can figure out how to release them gradually and in certain areas. But we're told there's going to be a lot of death coming in the 70th week. A lot. Half the world population. We're over 8 billion. That's 4 billion people. And what are the people that are left going to have to put up with? What's left of the earth, who will be going through its own dying pains. But don't worry about it. It is not for us. These wake-up calls, these loud alarms and gongs that they're hitting and everything that they're doing to wake the world up, they're not for us. That's why we won't be here. We've already made the choice. The rest of the world hasn't. So we get out of the way, and the rest of the world's going to get what they're asking for. We want a Satan world. We want Satan down here running everything. Well, they're going to get it. And they're going to find out just how bad that is. Intelligent people will choose God over Satan when they are given the true choice. But they're not given the true choice. That's the problem. Social media is getting tougher. I'm having problems right now trying to get to my $100. If I don't make $100 during the month, they don't have to pay me. And they put filters on me to try to slow down your viewing. I get so much per week because you watch the ads, or at least allow the ads up there. I chose initially not to monetize. For those of you that don't know the story, when I first created this channel, I chose not to monetize. But then YouTube monetized it and they collected 100%. And I wasn't going to let that happen. So I jumped through the hoops that they made me jump through for me to monetize it. They still get a cut, but I get the majority of it. But if I don't reach $100, it defers till the next month. So I don't make money that month. And I need to make at least $150 a month. I've got a Patreon account. Thank you very much, Patreon supporters. But if I don't, and I make a certain amount on that, if I don't combine that with YouTube money, I don't pay for my satellite. And I need the satellite to upload. Otherwise, I'm spending gas driving into town trying to find cell signal. And I'm in the country for a reason. I'm in the wilderness. If you were in the middle of the Sinai, you'd have to drive to Cairo to find internet or wherever. So I need your help. Pray for me that they will not be able to filter to the point where I won't make my minimum $100. You can contribute through the thanks button, which adds to that. But sharing the video, telling others about the video, is just as important, because the more viewers that I get, the more ad revenue that I get. And I don't make a lot of ad revenue, people. I make maybe $1 or $2 a day off of ad revenue generally, at my typical 200 views per month, roughly. Every once in a while, I'll put a title up that just hits the mark, and that title will then get me maybe 1,000 views. Well, between the normal views and the special ones, I make enough. If I put the word rapture in the title, I get more views. But I'm not doing this for play. This isn't a game. This is seriousness. But that's why I tell you at the bottom, share this. Tell your friends about it. Word of mouth. If everybody who shares it, exponentially things can grow fast. Get the tent out of the way. I'm putting a video at the end to show you where the lake's at. It's going down further and further. You could almost, there is a channel, a boat channel, which is probably 4 to 6 feet deep. I probably cannot walk all the way across, but I can walk 80% of the way across the lake behind me. I had a picture earlier, I think last film or the film before, where there was a crane out there about 40 yards out in the water, but I've seen cranes further out. And there's a kayak there on the peninsula, which you can see on my film at the end. The guy got there and just left it. He didn't paddle back. He said it was too hard. It's not enough water. There's only maybe 8 to 10 inches of water in most of the water that's out there. He's going to have to haul it out there and carry it up and put it in his vehicle and drive it back to his campsite. All right. I'm making this video here in my campsite before I leave tomorrow to go take my son for his plasma donation. I don't typically have a computer with me while I'm out there, and so therefore I have a hard time coming up with scriptures, because I can't remember. That's why I use the teleprompter. And I do have my workstation here, but it's in the tent. I've got my laptop in the car, but I have to walk around behind the building to find a quiet place where I can do my video. And even if that cars drive by, people come by. It's in town. So I'm doing this ahead of time. So I'm making this on, is this Monday? Yeah. Tuesday I'll be in town. So when you watch this, I'll be in town with my son on Tuesday. Pray for this channel, because YouTube doesn't want it to exist. And I don't have the connections or the funding behind me to go join the big guys. Even Rumble is being attacked now. They may not be able to keep doing what they're doing. Our one world government wants everything on the same page, everyone on the same page. They'll go after Twitter eventually. They may threaten to shut his businesses down if he doesn't comply. Now, he's pretty adamant, he's pretty solid about some of this stuff, because he's in a good position. But positions can be changed, especially if a global entity is trying to work on him. So pray for him. I don't think he's going to comply. I think he's going to get shot. So pray that that doesn't happen, but that's my personal gut feeling. Same thing goes for Big T, who's not going to comply. They shot and missed him, but that was probably deliberate to miss him, to warn him, to scare him off. Because they've scared other people off before. But he's not going to scare off. He's in his 80s. He doesn't have a lot of time left anyway. 10, 20 years max. And I don't know what personal shape he's in. I don't know the person. It's fixing to get real here, real soon. So stay in the Word. Keep that armor on. Don't take it off. Sleep in your armor. Sleep standing up if you have to. Stand guard. Take turns standing guard. They have that. It's called prayer teams. You have different people praying constantly, 24 hours a day. Be a part of that. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Side of the peninsula here, you can see how far the water is going out here. And to really see it, look up in there. Coming around this side, it's up there on the other bank. Coming around here, that boat would normally be underwater. That boat. And those trees are also underwater. They've been coming out here with the mowers and mowing all the way up to the mud now so that they can get it down so that it won't, because normally you can't mow that close, but since it's so far down, I don't know that there's a way to get in here. I think you would have to put a boat in this little lake now because the water bridge to the river is down to a trickle. I still have a lake, but it's not much. Blessings, everyone.